Hi, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast, powered by CKREU. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Debbie Smith of Easterseals Redwood. She highlights their Game to Career Employment Fair happening later this month. Thank you to our podcast sponsor, CKREU, Google and Amazon advertising experts. Now let's go meet our members of the week, hear from our sponsor, and I will be back with Debbie.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. CKREU gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, CKREU generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can CKREU do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Amrise is a leading North American partner for professional builders, offering advanced branded solutions from foundations to rooftop. Bluegrass Diesel Specialist is a full-service repair shop and parts department. Kensington Vanguard National Land Services provides commercial and residential title insurance and escrow services nationwide. Formerly known as Al Nair, Maris combines more than 130 years of commercial real estate expertise with an integrated team of company owners. Wayfarer Tavern is a neighborhood pizza joint in third place in the heart of Dayton, Kentucky. Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Debbie Smith of Easterseals Redwood. Debbie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad the sun is shining for us today, too.
Despite how cold it is, the sun is out, and we are blessed for that. But I am so excited to have you on. Tell me a little bit about what you do at Easterseals Redwood. You guys are a huge organization doing so much stuff.
Yes, Easterseals Redwood. We provide so many services to individuals in our community, individuals with disabilities, disadvantages, and our veterans. So we provide therapy services as well as workforce solutions, and also just helping people come over some of those barriers to self-sufficiency. Mm-hmm. We've got training that we're offering around workforce, and that's kind of the area that I focus on the most. Recently, probably about a year and a half ago, I changed my role from being on senior leadership to really focus on a neurodivergent employment initiative. Mm-hmm. We really felt that this was a space in our workforce community that needed to be addressed. We felt that there were some funding challenges, systems challenges that weren't really supporting the neurodiverse population as well. And so that's where I've been focusing my time, is developing a program specifically for neurodivergent young adults to connect to the workforce.
Yeah, that is such a huge piece of when we're talking about talent pipelines and development, really essential as we are looking for ways to keep people employed and getting new people into those talent pipelines. What are some things that you guys are doing right now at Easterseals Redwood in that space?
So in the neurodivergent space specifically, we've been working on, one, trying to help the neurodivergent population really identify with their skills and their talents that can apply to the workforce. Mm-hmm. We have found that, a lot of our Gen Z population, more than 50% of them are currently in the workforce, but close to almost 50% of them are also identifying as neurodiverse. And we're seeing that number increase. Mm-hmm. And when we're seeing that too, studies have shown that neurodiverse individuals are also having higher levels of unemployment. Right. And they're not finding the ways that they're connecting to the workforce. Well, I like to think that the skills and talents that neurodiverse individuals bring to the workforce are superpowers that we need to tap into. One of the things I think that's been traditional in any type of assessment, or when we're trying to help people that may not be thinking what we call neurotypical, which, what is neurotypical, right? Like, what is the common, what is the baseline? Is that we always tend to say to individuals that you need to stop doing this and do this instead. Mm-hmm. When we do that, that creates for that person the understanding that I'm doing something wrong or that what I'm doing is inappropriate. And then you learn to what we call masking, right? I don't know if you've heard of that, is that people mask their behaviors or mask their skills. What we have found a lot is that the things that we're masking are really the talents that the workforce needs. We've looked at World Economic Forum has identified the top 10 skills on the rise for 2030, right? We're looking at analytical thinking, there's systems, there's looking at the way that we're dealing with talent management. These are the skills that we know individuals have and possess if we help them really kind of dive in and look a little bit more inward of what their strengths are. So one of the things we're doing is we've kind of built a neurodivergent employment program kind of based on gaming, based on the concepts of gaming, I guess you could say. It's not that we're, using or teaching people to play video games, but the concepts of gaming is when you're doing any type of gaming, you gather a group of skills, right? You're going on a quest, right? So you use these skills for that quest. You apply those skills. You kind of look for ways that you can navigate through and you master this level. Then you move on to the next level and you get new skills and you master that. So we're kind of using this concept of gamification and helping people identify what are their talents, what are the strengths they're bringing to the table. There's an assessment that was created by a group of psychologists here in Cincinnati called the VIA Character Strengths Assessment. That's what we're using with individuals to help them identify their strengths. The VIA identifies 24 strengths that every single one of us has. We all possess them. We just tend to lean into more of them than the others. Like my top one is humor. That's the strength that I lean into the most, right? Like if things are going bad, say a joke, right? But that's the strength that I lean into the most. One of the strengths I don't lean into the most is my appreciation for nature and beauty. It's, although I do love it, it's just not one of the strengths that I lean into the most. And so we use these strengths to get people to see, okay, how do I show up? How am I showing up every day? And then it kind of helps you understand a little bit more about yourself. And if you know that, if people know that I lean into humor, sometimes that can be good. Sometimes it can be bad, right? You can have a strength that can be underutilized or overutilized. And so we try to help neurodivergent individuals see that balance. And then we do another kind of assessment that's called a gamer profile that looks like if you're going to play video games or you're going to, even on your phone, we play, even in banking, there feels like there's gaming going on, right? And so you Monopoly Go, right? Any type of gaming thing that you're doing, but there's a motivator to that. What motivates you? Is it, you're passing time? Is it that, you feel like you've got an accomplishment, that you mastered something, you like to play alone, you want other people to see your scores? So we find out what are these things that motivate you. So we take these motivations along with your strengths and help you kind of identify a good profile to figure out, okay, what might motivate me then in the workforce?
Right.
How do I apply my strengths and my motivators into the workforce? So we have that group of those two assessments in the report that we put together. It's called Skills Quest, right? Gathering your skills. What is that quest of skills? And then from that, we have a course that we're going to be offering this summer called Mission Ready, where we're going to dive in a bit deeper. We're going to go a deeper dive into exactly how your motivations and your skills can apply to industry. What industries are those? What kinds of training or education do you need? We're finding that for a lot of our neurodivergent individuals, young adults, that maybe a four-year college isn't is going to be their most successful track, but they're going to excel at micro-credentials or credentialing. Shorter courses, shorter mastery, and quick application. And that kind of is that building up again of that kind of that gamification.
You're questing. You're completing your quest. You're getting the points. I'm married to a man that video games a lot. So you are speaking a language that I don't definitely understand. But it's so cool that you guys are creating this new way to get people into the workforce. You mentioned the Mission Ready program that you guys are going to be doing this summer, but you guys also have an event coming up in February. Tell me a little bit about this Game to Career event.
We do. This is a lot of fun. So we hosted it last year. UC, their esports lab at 1819 Innovation Hub, they have been a gracious partner with us. And Cincinnati Fear Game Day, they actually, Cincinnati Fear, kind of hosts all of the gaming clubs throughout our region. So they'll help colleges and high schools put together gaming clubs. And so we came together and we thought, wouldn't it be a great way to just bring some employers and some gamers together and get them to talk, get them to have interaction, learn from each other. So we did this last year. We had the Air Force was there. We had a droning exhibit. We had some IT, cybersecurity, finance. Fifth Third was our sponsor last year. And we just brought together gamers and these employers and got them to start talking about, again, those workforce skills that we know are on the rise for 2030. And the gamers were sharing with the employers, this is how this skill shows up for me on this video game. And then the employers were saying, well, this is how that skill shows up in entry-level positions for us. And so we offered headshots. We had a virtual reality career exploration, so individuals could go into a virtual setting and kind of try out different types of careers. That's through our program that we offer in Butler, Warren, and Claremont County, our Career Connections program. And it was just a great opportunity for folks to have exposure to looking at their skills and talents differently. So we're hosting that again this year on February 24th from 4 to 7. Again, it will be at the UC Esports Lab at 1819 Innovation Hub. There'll be free parking, which is always a nice
love that,
right? But again, we're going to have Fifth Third will be there. We have AMIP, which is the Advanced Manufacturing Hub for our region. We also have World Pay is going to be attending, and the Air Force will be there again, and offering folks headshots. We are looking at offering video resumes. Again, we'll have the virtual reality headsets. The one thing we're adding a little different this year is we're going to put on a Mario Smash tournament.
Oh, I love that.
So we're allowing the participants to sign up for a Smash tournament. So the individuals, the career seekers or those on their career journey will have a division for them, and then we're going to have an employer division.
I love that.
And then we'll have a final.
Yes.
So we'll have the winner of the employer bracket and the winner of the career seeker bracket. And we'll face off at the end.
I love that. Nothing like getting your name like in the door at a place like beating somebody at Mario Kart or at Smash, excuse me. I think that's so fun. And so one of the things I do want to ask about this event, especially for like our member businesses that are listening, if they are employers and they say, this sounds like fun, this sounds like a great way to increase my talent pipeline, what opportunities are there for them to get involved with this?
So they can become a sponsor for the event. We do offer sponsorships. They can contact me or they can contact our development team to become a sponsor. They would have a table at the event. They'll have their name posted throughout our media as a sponsor. They'll also have 2 individuals that they can enter into the tournament as well. And also it's this great opportunity to engage in thinking about how does gaming apply to their industry? And that's the conversation we're really wanting to have with employers. Thinking about the way that you look at gamification, either in your hiring processes, in your training processes. We even have one company that we have been working with that has put gaming units in their break rooms. And they have found their staff aren't over there playing for long hours at a time. They might go over and play for 10, 15 minutes. And it just increases their productivity. It addresses retention. So there's all kinds of ways that we interface with technology that it doesn't always have to be in our skill development, but it also can be in the way that we're decompressing and we're kind of expressing ourselves and socializing, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we want employers to have, that opportunity to see how that can happen in real time.
I also think so much about the team building aspect of gameplay. For a long time, for people who have played video games, I played Call of Duty for a really long time and did their Warzone playing, which is a co-op. You play big. It's very Fortnite for
kids with, or parents that have kids that play Fortnite. Kind of that same idea. It was funny enough, I ended up working with a guy that I played video games with. And when he and I would work on shift together, our communication was just, it was easy. It was easy peasy breezy. And I think there are so many different things that you can learn when you're working together as a team in any kind of team building setting. But video games, personally, I love.
Sarah, that's a perfect example
Mhm.
because I think there's a lot of times people think of video games of people sitting in their basement, not talking to people, being, a hermit down in the,
Right.
all in the dark. There is socialization going on.
Yeah.
And our world and the way that we're interfacing with technology, it's actually the world is much smaller. And you can be talking to someone, right?
Yeah.
In Colorado and have a great conversation that you might not ever meet them in person, but you had a chance to meet them in person, right? So you got to see how you made a relationship over something like gaming, something common. And I'm just assuming, but that probably made kind of a breakthrough with your working relationship. It was like you had an understanding. There was already something there. And I think that's the way we need to see gaming as a way that way to bring it into the workforce, especially since we have so many folks that are working with, folks in other countries or other states. There's different ways that we need to be looking at the way that we're engaging our gaming and even our upskilling, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You're speaking my language. It's just such a really interesting way that you guys are doing this. In a way that I think a lot of workforce developers and a lot of employers would probably be really interested in learning how they can apply this in their own spaces. So Debbie, for employers that want to learn more about how they can maybe apply some of these concepts to their workforce and their day-to-day routines, what do people need to know? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can get in touch with me through our Easterseals website, Easterseals Redwood website, or directly through my email. I'm hoping that you'll be able to share my contact information through the podcast, but they contact me directly. I will be happy to sit down and meet with the team. We really like to engage with employers that have these entry-level positions or internship positions that they would really like to try something new and different. And we really want to help folks kind of interface and get engaged with that. Like I said, there's HR processes, I think. Sometimes the neurodivergent individuals screen themselves out of jobs because they'll see a job description and they take the job description very literally. So there's ways, I think, that through conversation that we can kind of look at job descriptions and job postings to help them be more neurodivergent friendly so that you are attracting a population of individuals that could really offer some great diversity into your workforce, but also some incredible talent.
Yes, I absolutely love that. Debbie, thank you so much for your time today. Before I let you go, any final thoughts on the work that you guys are doing at Easterseals Redwood in this space, or anything else you think people need to know?
Well, I would love for folks to come out and join us at Game to Career. It'll be a great event for all parents and teachers, as well as our students and employers. So join us then, and thanks for this opportunity today. I appreciate the chance to share with you about what we're doing.
Of course. Well, thank you so much, Debbie. It was great to have you on.
Thank you.
Thank you to our Investors Circle members. Our Investors Circle members help us promote and support the development of strong businesses and a vibrant economy in the Northern Kentucky region. Thank you to all of these members for their investment, which will help the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce in our mission to develop and grow a thriving business community. Northern Kentucky needs tailored solutions to address our housing shortage. Home for All, Northern Kentucky Housing Strategies, explores how we can retain young adults, help older residents downsize or age in place, and ensure new neighbors have housing options that fit their lives. Dive into the report at housingNKY.org. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the podcast. If you are interested in learning more about the Game to Career Employment Fair, please visit eastersealsredwood.org. And if you want to learn more from Debbie Smith, she is hosting a roundtable discussion at our 8th annual Workforce Best Practices Symposium happening on Wednesday, March 11th. She will be presenting Workplace Strategies for Gen Z Talent Success with Samantha Kelly of Beyond Neurodiversity, who was also recently on the podcast. You can learn more about our Workforce Best Practices Symposium and including all of our incredible speakers and register at nkychamber.com/events. Thank you once again to our podcast sponsors, CKREU, Google and Amazon advertising experts. And finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're a member who would like to share your workforce strategies and resources on our Talent Strategy Spotlight, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen if you are a viewer, and our listeners can find that at nkychamber.com/staff. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week.